So by that time I was like about 20, yeah, and yeah, I was doing some club dates, and I met a fellow, a musician who was was doing some work in the radio studios. Not a lot, but he was like he had a little bit of a foot in the door there, and he knew this at that time. The busiest guitarist in New York City in the studios was a fellow named Karl, and another fellow was Dick McDonagh. And through this bass player, he was telling Karl about this young guy who just came to New York, which was me. He said, "I'd like to," and so I met Karl, and through Karl I met Dick, and they were so busy doing all of these radio shows, like Burns and Allen, Fred Allen, and Jack Benny, and whatever, that rehearsals and things would overlap. So Karl or Dick would send me in for an afternoon rehearsal to mark up the parts, where they were going to make a cut from here to here, or which part was going to be left out. I would attend the rehearsals, and then they would come in and play the show. And that's basically how I got started. And then Dick got so busy, he was doing a 3-a-week, 15-minute radio show, which he said he had sent me on as a sub a few times, and finally got to the point, he said, "Look, just do the show." He said, "I'm just," between the recordings that they were doing and the radio shows, they got so busy. So that's how I got my start. Then Karl, I heard that CBS was looking for a guitarist to join staff there with a new group they were forming that Raymond Scott was forming for the network, and suggested and recommended me for an audition. And I got that, and I got the audition, and I got a job at CBS, and at that time, I was, I think, 20 or 21, yeah.
So this is about 1941.
41, right.
Right. So once you got a staff job, then you were assigned to whatever show they needed music?
Right. Like I say, here again now, everything was live. And like CBS in New York was the flagship of the CBS fledgling network. I guess they didn't. I mean, they knew they had stations in the South, and I think they went out to the Midwest. I don't know if they went out all the way to California in those days, or not. I don't remember. But as I made the move, so did another fellow make the move. Sinatra had made his move from Tommy Dorsey, and when CBS signed him up. So Frank came to CBS to do an afternoon radio show with the Raymond Scott Orchestra, which didn't last long because CBS immediately got him a half-hour commercial show. I think it was a Tuesday nights, at 9, for Vim's Vitamins, with Axel Stortel as the conductor. And now, my being on the staff, he was using the whole staff, CBS Orchestra. In those days there were 150 musicians on staff, on every network.
Wow. I
mean, NBC had the Toscanini Symphony Orchestra. Every network had a symphony orchestra. Every other network had a dance band, jazz bands, small groups, trios, because everything was live. All the music on radio was done live. So then when Frank got this half-hour show, naturally I was assigned to it. So that was the first we had worked together since our days at WAAT. And interestingly enough, after Frank got the commercial show, they replaced him with another young singer who just left the Ted Weems Orchestra for the afternoon show, was called Perry Como. And I started an association with Perry that went on for over 25 years. And like I say, then I was at CBS for many years, and progressed into the television eras coming up while I was there at CBS.